afternoon. Again, this is Jeff Cope, General Manager of Homegrown Gardens in Corvallis, Oregon, urban horticulturalist, and I'm here today and we're going to talk about drip irrigation or micro irrigation. And drip irrigation is a part of what we call micro irrigation. We call it micro irrigation because we're putting very little water out. Now, definition of drip irrigation is the frequent application of water in very low amounts. And that's because we're measuring drip irrigation in gallons per hour as opposed to gallons a minute, which you'd have in a conventional sprinkler system. So what I'm going to do, I think, is first I'm going to talk to you about this design guide. The product that we sell in the nursery here in 4845 Southeast 3rd Street is a company called DIG, D-I-G, and I've been associated with this company for well over 20, probably 25, maybe even 30 years. And they're a very good company, very generous company. They've made a number of donations to community projects and things when I was working, teaching irrigation at a community college, and recently making donations to our pollinator garden here at the Art Center for irrigation components. So they're generous and have an excellent product line. So we carry that in the nursery. So to start with, drip irrigation, again, it's low volume, and we're going to be hooking this up to a hose bib or a garden valve, either out in the landscape or off the house. And because we're doing that, we can operate it at a lower flow, but also lower pressure. But there are some components. So I'm going to take you through all the components that it takes to put together one of these systems, but I'm going to refer you back to this manual. So when you come in, you can pick up one of these manuals for free, and it tells you how to design your system. There's actually a little graph paper in here. You can design your system up and have it all drawn out. You come in with this drawing or description of what you're doing, and we'll help you put all the components together to put your own drip system together or a micro system. Because there's a difference. Drip system is when there's an emitter that drips water 1 gallon per hour, 2 gallons per hour, and some of them up to 4 gallons per hour, as opposed to a micro sprinkler. And I'll show you one here for an example. This is a micro sprinkler, and this puts out about 10 gallons per hour. So it's still fairly low, but a lot more than an emitter at 1 gallon per hour. And these spray a pattern about 5-foot diameter. And you use something like this if you have a ground cover area, you're trying to water the whole surface of the ground, as opposed to a drip irrigation emitter. These are still in the package. I don't want to open that up. But each of these emitters are popped into the drip tubing, which I'll show you in a minute, and they leak out. This particular one is 2 gallons per hour. So if you leave that on at a plant, for every hour you've got 2 gallons. So if you're gonna decide that, okay, I got a new plant, I'm gonna give it 4 gallons a week, run it on twice, at an hour will give you that 4 gallons. You have to do the math to make that work. So, getting back to the components. What I have on here, first off, is a timer. If you're going to put a new landscape in and when you get it established and you're prone to forget to turn the water on, timers are wonderful. This particular DIG timer is a Bluetooth. They also come in just plain battery timers. And also my favorite is the solar. I use these at my house. I don't have to pop new batteries in. Solar radiation, they work all season long without any problem. So there's different devices you can use, and what I'm using for demonstration here is Bluetooth. So you go on and you download this little QR code on the instructions, you download the program, and on your phone you can program your schedule for what days of the week you want the water to run, how long you want it to run. So that's the first thing that you hook up right to your hose bib. The next thing is going to be a backflow prevention device. Now, because you're hooking this up possibly to a hose valve off the house, this lets the water go this way out to your plants, but not back this way to contaminate your water supply should there be a drop in water pressure. So that's a little safety health code device that you put on there. The next item is a filter. This is a Y filter. 200 mesh filters out all the particulates that otherwise would plug the orifices on your drip irrigation emitters. They're very small orifices and they can plug very easily. These are nice because, I'll show you the filter. There's a 200 mesh filter. And if you have well water, this is extremely important, and even for domestic water in the city where you have metered water, it's also important because there's always some little chunks of this and that get in the water supply. To flush this, what you do maybe once a month or so, you just take that cap off, turn the water on, it back flushes, water sprays out, cleans the filter. Very, very easy to do. Then beyond that, the next component is a pressure regulator. Drip irrigation runs best between 15 pounds per square inch to 25 pounds per square inch. If it's too high a pressure, all your components are going to blow apart. You're going to have a mess. So you keep the pressure down low. Most homes I've found in the area are running at about 65 psi, pounds per square inch. Too high, so you need to bring it down for this to operate properly. So this little device right here brings the pressure down. I believe these are preset at about 25. And so it'll be 25 out the gate here, and as water runs through the line, there's actually friction loss. If you have a 200-foot line, it's going to be less pressure out there because of friction loss, and the pressure will probably less too as water's leaking out. But this helps regulate it and keep it uniform at a lower pressure, not to blow your system apart. The next component is called a swivel. And all these are put together with hose threads. So everything is hose threads. So this screws into the pressure regulator, hose threads, and this is where your drip irrigation pipe connects together. And these are compression fittings with little barbs in there. And I'll guarantee you, once you fit that in there, you are not going to get that out. Trust me, you will not get that back out. It locks in. No glue is necessary, it's just a pressure fit. And so you put that in, and now that's locked in for good. And then here's your drip line that runs out to your plants, and off this is where you pop in. Here's a little demonstration. This is the tool you'll have to buy that you make your hole. So that pops a hole in the drip tubing, 1/2-inch drip tubing. And then you take your emitter, pop it in that hole you just made, till you hear it snap, then it's locked in. This is a 1 gallon per hour emitter. If I'm going to plant a 1 gallon plant right here, I want that emitter right on the root ball. If I want roots to extend beyond that, because the roots only extend in moist soil, not dry soil, I can put another emitter on this side and one on this side, so I have a bigger wetted area so those roots can expand out beyond where the container is when I first planted that plant. Now, when you reach the end of the line, you've got an open pipe, and what you're going to have to do is close that off. And what we use is called a figure 8. You slide this on the end of the pipe, you crimp it over like that, and at these low pressures, water does not get through that. And there you have the end of your line all crimped off. You have a complete system. Now, the decision on all the things you're going to do along that line is where this manual comes in handy. It has description of all the different emitters and products that dig cells, how you put things together. All the instructions you need are right in here. They do a great job. Then the next trick is to knowing when to water and how much to water, the frequency, what days, how many days a week to water, and how long to leave it on. Great tips in here for that as well. If you're watering container plants on your patio. That's going to have a certain schedule. Hanging baskets. If you have a vegetable garden, you're going to have different schedules, or if it's woody shrubs, that's going to have its own kind of schedule. So this has a great guide for programming your controller to know what to water. One quick point, there's also for like row crops, if you're doing gardening, vegetable gardening, this drip tape runs out, and every 12 inches there's an emitter, and you roll it out. So if you have a row of corn or whatever you've got out there, you can roll that up in the season, you can roll it back up, hang it up for the next season. It's great for row crops. They've got an application for almost everything. You can mix and match on a system, as long as you kind of match the precipitation rate a little bit. So you have to work at that. And if you're going to design a system for your home, pick up the guide, and we're here to help you as well. So come in and see us, and we'll help you put your system together. It's a great way to water. It's low cost, easy to do, it's kind of fun, and it does work very efficiently if you do it right. I think that's all I got. Thanks so much.